Hey everyone, it's Latrice,
And Dallas.
and welcome to another episode of
OnCounty.
So today our topic will be maturity. The last time that we left you, we were talking about depression, um, suicide, mental awareness and mental healing. Healing, excuse me. So we're just leading into with the maturity. The topic doesn't necessarily just mean for younger people. It's for older people as well. It's just maturity in reference to thought process, both in professional and personal lives. So we're just going to kick off the show with that. I am actually going to start first, and then Dallas will chime in. So Dallas introduced this topic to me. We really didn't have an opportunity to talk about, maturity, but I'll just kind of go through what my journey and what, I'm kind of looking at going towards, not necessarily just for 2022, but just as a life journey. So I think maturity actually, is just a development of your interpersonal skills. I believe that everyone needs to have their own cheerleader, on their own coach. A lot of times that we rely on people to support us or pour into us. We allow, expect people to, come and, tell us the right and wrong thing to do when, I always say if you look at in the mirror, that is actually your worst enemy. So we are critical of ourselves. We don't practice a lot of self-care, especially I would probably say in the African American community. It's about, especially coming from old school, hey, just pray on it. God got you, which is true. But, you also have to have action. So for me, maturity is going to be looking at both professional and personal because they overlap. You are basically more so at your job more than you're at home with your family. So the things that you do, whether you're working a job or you have a career or you have a trade, I feel my journey this year, especially coming off of or still in the midst of personal awareness and still battling with depression, is more so of, am I working or am I working with a purpose? Or you leaving a legacy? The job that you make, yeah, if you do a good job and go to work, your paycheck is from what you do. It's not a reward. It's not, laying the foundation of what do you need to do. So I think personal maturity is taking a look at your current role, your current job that you're doing. Are you working with a purpose? And what I mean by that, what have you contributed to your community, to society as a whole, to yourself? Or you being paid based on what you're worth? Or you working for the job, or is the job working you? So those questions that I just, asked, it was a no. I'm not being paid for what I'm worth. The job is working me, and I'm not working with a purpose. So it kind of leads you down a path of awareness, meaning, should I be doing something else? Do I need to go back to, the drawing board and see what I want to do? I'm definitely for sure not a spring chicken, so there's not a lot of option because even with maturity, you're never too old to reinvent yourself. For the personal maturity piece of it, I think that intersects with the job piece of it. I know that I bring a lot to the table, but I'm also eating on somebody else's plate. Let me say that again. I'm at the table. I bring a lot to the table, but I'm actually sharing my meal off somebody else's plate. That means that I am not tapping into my personal wealth, what I have, the skills that I have obtained over the years, what direction. I think a lot of times we get pigeonholed into something. Dallas and I were talking about, and I was sharing with him that I've been in customer service since 91. Working, that's a very, very long time. I don't even know the math on that. But I've always worked in like customer service and call center type of work. And I just been too basically scared to do anything different because out of fear of failing. That also comes with maturity. When you're mature enough to recognize that you need to do something else, that's called growth. Personally, I think that we can sit back and go, I'm depressed. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go here. I just want to go back in my room. I'm still going through that. But I also know that I have to woman up and make sure that I'm putting the tools in place or using the resources that are out here. For example, not coming to my own pity party, stepping up and doing what I have to do when it comes to professional, when it comes to my personal life. Am I setting boundaries with, friends or loved ones? Am I sticking to those boundaries? As a parent, for me, Dallas and I are on this journey. Actually, we just came from skating. We had a little skate band on. We had a great time. So we're collectively doing things together to continue on with our bond. But parent maturity is what I'm also entering, because it's allowing Dallas to do things and go down his own path. I've actually noticed that, Dallas, I think you should do this. I think you should do this, because as a parent, especially as a parent of a Black man, our words are a little bit different. We worry about all our kids, and there's so many things even out here of being, young Black women. But just knowing that each day that he walks out, that maybe that could be his last, I'm always super worried about that. But also I have to trust in the process that I've raised him with qualities and giving him the tools and the resources that he needs to make healthy, informed decisions. So that goes back into my parenting. There's no manual on being a parent. It's not. Sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't. But the parent maturity is being able to trust that he's going to do the things that he needs to do. Also allowing him to make those mistakes, make those errors, maybe hey, I shouldn't have done this. And just be supportive, not, well, I told you so. If you would have listened to me, that's the worst. So for me, the maturity is just threefold: parent maturity, personal maturity, and professional maturity. They all kind of work hand in hand. I think once I start on my personal journey of being a more mature person, looking at things on a more mature level, especially finances. If I added up all the money that I probably squandered through or did not have a healthy, make a healthy decision, I probably would have a lot of dollars. But growing up, I think for the Black community, I can't speak for the whole Black community, but I don't think that we're taught financial responsibility. So we kind of learn as we go. Financial maturity. Do I necessarily need to eat out, or can I go home and cook? Are we saving? Are we preparing for the future? Are we leaving a legacy? Are we, instead of renting, are we looking towards buying? And so those are some things that definitely mature, but that all goes back to having healthy mental stability and having a good foundation. So those are my journeys, and I know it's a lot of people out here that might be watching that. Some of the things might be like, yeah, I would probably say just take a look at your life portfolio, make some amendments and changes without changing who you are. Practice doesn't make perfect, it makes improvement. If you keep at it and you keep, focusing and you keep looking forward and utilizing the tools that you have, or even past mistakes that you have, I think that you will build a better bridge to your future. But I challenge everyone that is listening to just kind of do a snippet. Take a snippet of your life where you stand right now. And are you working with a purpose, or are you just working? Working for a check, working, well, I get paid 2 weeks from now, or are you leaving a legacy? So I think the mature thing to do is to know that you can always better your best. So I will let Dallas take the floor. Of course, I wish everyone well. And I know during this journey of life, we will get there, and we will do the things that are necessary to make sure that we are showing up and being the best version of ourselves in our lives.
I appreciate that. That was very great wisdom. I'm just gonna piggyback on a little bit what she had said, especially the idea of personal and relationship maturity. I think a lot of topics fall under in both of them categories, but they're the main principle of maturity. I'll start first with personal. Sometimes you have to better yourself. You have to look at the criteria around you. Sometimes it's maybe just the people that you hang around. Sometimes maybe just the environment. But a very hard thing that a lot of us don't accept or don't want to take responsibility on is that sometimes you are stopping your own growth. It takes time to self-reflect and really think about, what am I doing that I need to work on to better myself? And, it's kind of hard. A lot of us are stubborn, no matter the age, naive to a point where we don't want to accept that it's us. We always want to point the finger somewhere else. Or it's them. Or it was just that situation. Or it was just this environment I was in. It would change. Sometimes it's just you. If you really take time to go look in the mirror and just think about where you want to be and the goals you have, and see, are you on that progression? Look at the fact that maybe you're not doing something to meet up to that expectation for you to want to go. The road to success is a very, unpredictable road. It's very challenging at times. The car can only move so fast, but it's based on how you put in your pedal on the car. So sometimes you could think that, I'm not getting there. You may be looking at it like, the road or the conditions is bad, but the main problem is you're just not putting enough gas to get there. It's you. And it's kind of hard to accept that. First things to look at is the people around you. A lot of people around you are genuinely caring about you, and if they give you constructive criticism or they give you their opinion, it's coming from a great place. It took me a long time to realize that, growing up, my mother would say a lot of things, but of course, growing up being a kid, it's natural to be naive and not want to listen to older people tell you, oh, this is not the right thing to do, or want to do it my way. And the only thing that I resulted from that is me making mistakes and have to come back to my mother for her to help me get out of the situation. So I had to take a moment to think about, do I want to take heed to what she's saying? She cares about what I'm doing. She loves me. She wants the best things for me. Or do I want to continue doing my own thing and continue failing and maybe get to a point where she can't get me out of the situation? So I took that moment just being in high school and realizing that I needed to work on that, you know what, I need to start taking more heed to what she's saying. A lot of older people around me, I'm very grateful and appreciative of even have small conversations with them. It could be something very small, but I really tune in and listen to them, because one thing's for sure, older people are not just going to talk to anybody. They can tell by how you carry yourself, your vibe, if you're on the right track. They're not going to say nothing to you if you're not on the right track. And the fact that I had a lot of older people around me tell me advice or even just wisdom or even just showing appreciation, I take heed to that. A lot of people say I'm kind of like an old soul, but that just comes from me listening. I had to be a listener before I could be a speaker. You can't just be a speaker because you don't know what you're talking about. If you start speaking, you want to be able to legitimately speak out factual information, helpful information, not just speaking out anything that's opinion-based or that's not helpful to people. To be a king, you at first had to be a prince. And then to be a prince, you at first had to be just a regular person. It takes steps to get where you want to get in life. There's no skipping certain steps. And personal maturity is a very major part where you get grouped into three categories where I think in life. You got the people who succeed, they had a little bit of mistakes, but the only thing they could tell you is the good part about success. They can't tell you about the struggles because they very rarely went through it. Then you got the people that's in the middle, the people that, had a good road, but they had a couple of challenges, but they got through it. They could tell you how to get through it. They could tell you what to expect. They could tell you to keep pushing. And then you got them people who give the best advice, in my opinion. The people that failed at it. The people that was at the door and it was open for them, but it closed on them. They can't open it no more. Take heed to especially them people, because they could have got where they wanted to be. It could be any other factors, but I guarantee you 90% of where they didn't get where they wanted to be, they're going to tell you it was their fault. They're going to tell you they could have did this better. They could tell you they could have listened to this person. They're going to tell you that they were just being immature about it or being prideful. And they will tell you legitimately just to listen. Them people are the best benefit to you if where you want to go in life and achieve success. Yeah, them people that had achieved it and went down the road correctly, they can help you. But what you going to do when you had hit that struggle? They haven't been there to be able to tell you how to get through it, to be able to tell you where your mental state going to be to keep pushing. The people that failed at it, they are very beneficial because now they didn't succeed, they didn't achieve their success for them, but now it's the second part of success for them. They want to see somebody else achieve their success. So they coming to you because they see that you're going down the wrong path and they want you to stop and take time to think about your choices and your decision making to go forward. And that's all based on if you want to take that. We don't get paid to do none of this. It's just personal. We have a lot of other things to do in free time. This is we live regular life like everybody else. Yes, we cheerful, but we went through a bunch of times where we had to listen to people. We made that mistake and we could start, I could have did just this a little bit better. It's been times where maturity is also being able to listen to what somebody around you, like I said, your circle tell you. There's been times where I'd have my mother tell me, Dallas, you're not doing this right, or Dallas, you need to do this better. And, the natural nature in me is be like, oh, man, she don't know. I got this. But I had to really realize that she's telling me this from a great place. And why not listen to her? This free advice. It's not no charge on this. This is so much free. She don't have to tell me that. I'm very big on just because they're your parent, they don't have to tell you nothing. It's optional at the end of the day. They just got to get you to 18. After that, it's optional if they want to continue to help you. It's optional to give you these pieces. They just have to make sure you're going down the right path. So with your parents, whoever in your life that you look to, your aunt, your uncle, really just when you hear they tell you something, you want to take that first little step and be just brushing it off. Really take time to think about what they're saying. Look at it and implement it into your life and see where they're getting it from. See what mistakes you're making and see where you're really looking at. And it's just self-reflection. Self-reflection is a very good thing to have. A lot of people, self-reflection have saved a lot of people's lives. But self-reflection, not doing it, has also messed up a lot of people's lives. And it's understandable to a point, but like I said all the time, you're going to make mistakes in life, but I'm trying to make the least of mistakes as possible. This is just part of success at the end of the day. It comes with struggles. No such thing as success without struggles. That's fictional. So I'm trying to make as many mistakes as possible. And if you tell me I got people around me, my mother, etc., any other people, and they just want to take their time out their day to tell me something to work on, I'm going to take heed to it. They just trying to help me out. They looking for my benefit. They ain't benefited from my success. They benefited from seeing me be successful, seeing me be the best person I could be. And that's genuine as possible. Genuine people around you is very hard to find. You're going to run into people that can give you advice, but they trying to get something from you. They can tell you advice, and when you complete that success or that goal, they going to want to put their hands in the pot. It's very hard to find genuine people. There's not too many people left out here that's genuinely caring about what you're doing and making sure you're not making a mistake. You're an investment at the end of the day. That's how you got to look at it. Your investment. They're trying to not necessarily win off of you. They're trying to make sure you could be the best person you want to be. You only could water the plant so many times. You know what I'm saying? You have to consistently water a plant. You have to consistently feed it. You have to consistently put soil down for that plant to grow up and bloom. If you don't, it's going to die. And that's exactly how advice and wisdom and constructive criticism is. You just have to take it and just have to keep pushing. And it's been time that I have seen some of my actions and some of the decisions I made affect people around me. And that takes self-maturity. Early on at 18, I felt like, I didn't listen enough to older people. I feel like I could have made as mistakes I made before 18 and getting to 18. I feel like I could have avoided if I just would listen. In high school when I was 16, I even told my mother I had took her for granted. And then I really took time to realize and looked at other people who didn't have their mother or who didn't have that one person and really thought about what would life be. And it was nothing. There's nothing. So I had to really take time at 16 to realize, you know what, I'm taking advantage of my mother. I'm not being appreciative, I'm not being grateful. And if I lose her, I'm going to be mad at myself. So that was very early at 16. At 18, I feel like I didn't listen enough to older people. And 18 is a very early age, you're still learning, but I just feel like I could have listened a little bit more to older people because I was experiencing problems that they literally was warning me about, pre-hand, that I could have literally avoided. And now at 25, just 2 years ago, I really had to have a sit down and my mother could, vouch for it. And I said, I was not being the type of man I wanted to be. I was not at where I wanted to be at. I have great qualities. A lot of people see it. A lot of people say he carry himself well. But it's a lot of other things that I still need to work on. And I know that for a fact. I'm not too big to say that I need to work on something or take responsibility for my actions. It's certain childish and immature things that I still do as of right now being 25. But I told myself at 25 that a lot of these things I'm going to stop doing. When you get to 25, it's still a little leeway to do certain things, but it's a majority of things you shouldn't still be doing. When you reach 30, it's a lot of things you shouldn't be doing. By 30, you should be up to a maturity level that you be able to really invest in somebody, pour into somebody else to help them get past that. You still shouldn't be doing certain small childish things. And I still, experience that now, just not just being a type of man that I expect to be. And I'm not too big or not too mad to admit that. I'm not at the stage of the type of man I want to be and what I have expectations for myself. I'm not there yet. It's a progress. I say day by day. You gotta take every day by day. You gotta just look towards the future. Stay in the present, look towards the future, but never look back to the past. Accept what you had did and mistakes and failures and keep pushing, build off of that. Use them as materials to build your stairs to the door to success. They're not stopping points. They're just a yield sign. You just stop a little bit, you keep going. That's all it is. And the second portion of maturity is when it comes to relationships. I'm very big on that. I always say you have to be better yourself before you can be better with somebody else. Because if you're not at a stage where you feel like you're good with yourself, how you think you're going to be able to do that in a relationship with somebody else where it's 50-50? Sometimes it may not be 50-50, but everything has to end up being 100% at the end of the day. And it's been a lot of times due to childish actions or childish decisions that I had made that was very immature that, I ain't going to necessarily say I messed up a trust of women or, had them not believing what love is, but I definitely have been where they felt like I was childish and immature. And that, that's just growing. You know what I'm saying? It's about being mature. And if I claim that I love somebody, that I have to literally show that action too. I can say it all day, but if I don't have the action to back that, it don't mean nothing. It's meaningless words. It's empty words. You have to be actual in actions and progressions that you have to do. If your person that you're in a relationship tells you you need to work on this, don't take it as being mad. They're really concerned and they really want it to work out, and you should look at it as that benefit that they're making you aware of what's going on. I'm really big on that. I feel like if you messed up the relationship and it was your fault why it didn't work, that you don't deserve to be sad. You're the reason why I messed up. You don't deserve that. Why do you feel like you should be sad that you messed someone up when you was the main factor? It could be 60-40, but you still was a bigger percentage in it. You had time to think about and make whatever choice that you decided to go with and knew the result coming after that. And decided to still go with that. You didn't stop and think. And it's been a lot of times where I didn't stop and think. I just went off of that and then try to apologize after. And that's not being the type of man I want to be to a woman at the end of the day. You know, I'm the root of the tree. You know, the woman is the branches. You know, they what you see in a relationship. They keep all the branches nice and good. But if the root of the tree is not good, the tree's going to die. You know, I'm the stability of the relationship. So if I'm not stable myself to be a great man to a woman, then I need to take a step back and really evaluate myself and really work on the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not just talking about what I'm going to do. Be about what I'm going to do. And that's really the main thing about maturity and the topic of it. Patience, maturity, are very small, easy things that people can do, and communication too, but it's also the hardest things that we are able to show. The smallest things in life are always the hardest to do. It just comes with it. So personal, take time out to really think about what you're doing right now. You know, take time to think, where do you want to be? You know, are you on the right path to that? You know, work field, like she had said, work towards your value. I'm very big on pushing the envelope, and what I mean by pushing the envelope is if you got 4 or 5 years in a specific field, you should be getting paid up to that. Don't just go take a job just because it's a great company or because it's great benefits. Take a job that's going to be able to pay and put you in a better financial position at the end of the day. And that's just financial maturity, because guess what? When the bills paid, need to be paid, and it's due dates on stuff, your job not going to pay it. You know what I'm saying? When you leave, your job go find somebody else. There's certain jobs that value you, but we a dime a dozen. They can go find somebody else to do what you're doing. Or they can go mold somebody else to be in your position. Push the envelope what you want to do. Don't be cocky, but have confidence. I'm very confident when I bring to the table at the end of the day. So I expect to be fed five-star meal. I don't expect a 2-star meal. I'm bringing 5-star equipment. I'm bringing 5-star nice forks and plates. I expect a 5-star meal with it. You know what I'm saying? It's just based on that. And that's not, like I said, it's not being cocky, just what you worth. What is your worth? If you know your worth, why would you go below that? You want to go at that or beyond that at the end of the day. And that's just financial maturity. You know what I'm saying? I always say, be appreciative of the janitors more than the CEO. Because at the end of the day, the CEO runs the business, but guess who's keeping them that whole building clean at the end of the day? A janitor. They come in, make sure everything nice and clean, sweep up, and go and smile at the end of the day. And probably be the most disrespected person in the whole field or whatever business that you're in. But they keep stuff together. Their job is very essential. But just because it's a janitor or below where everybody else at, we don't look at them like that. They work the hardest. They don't say nothing. They complete what they need to do. And that's just doing their worth. You got to give people their worth at the end of the day. So, personal, work on yourself. Don't be so defensive if somebody come tell you about yourself. Take time to really think about it. Be patient. I always say preparation, determination, patience. That's how you get to success. These are all stepping stones at the end of the day. Build your steps to the door of success that you want. Just because you miss one step don't mean the steps is over. Just step over it. It's the next step. Don't let it stop you. I'm very big on this picture that it was 2 miners. I talked about it before. One miner just steady digging. Steady digging to the diamonds. He's 3 digs away from the diamonds. You got a miner at the bottom. He's turning around walking away. But he don't know that he's 1 dig away from the diamonds. And that's what success is. It's just the grind. You know, I thrive necessarily being in the struggle. You know what I'm saying? With my back on the wall, I feel like I'm the best I could be. I feel like it brings the best out of me, because it's a rush just to not know. It's the idea of not knowing when success is going to happen, but it's the idea to know that at any given moment I could be successful. I'd rather keep working and just keep moving and not knowing when it's going to happen than to stop and have to left with, what if I did this? I could be just 1 second away from success, but if I stop, then I'm never going to reach that. So just keep pushing. It is kind of hard to say keep pushing. Everybody's circumstances is different, but just keep pushing. You don't know how close you is to success. All it takes is 1 call, 1 second, 1 minute, 1 day, Anything can happen. And you could have been right at success right there. Don't be a what if. Just keep pushing. Keep moving. Relationship-wise maturity, make sure that you're the best person yourself before you go try to be in a relationship with somebody. Relationship it could be very taxing if you not there. And both people are working on each other. What you supposed to work and adjust and be as best you can be. It comes with time. But it gets to a point where if y'all just keep butting heads, that means both of y'all are probably not at a good stage to be in a relationship together, and that's fine. If that's the person you truly care about, one thing's for sure, you're going to fix it. You're going to work on it. If they make you aware of that, what you need to do, you're going to fix it. If you don't, that means you don't love them at the end of the day. And that's just all it is. If you truly love somebody, you're going to work on it. You're going to glue pieces back together, keep the family together. So make sure that you're there in your mind where you want to be before joining a relationship. And that's about all. Thank you all. Shout out to Hustle Sports as always.
Hustle Sports.
RIP to all the people we lost.
Yes.
RIP to Pastor Dennis too.
Yes.
We just recently lost my pastor, so RIP to him and his family. My condolences.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, just keep pushing. More episodes on the way.
Yeah. And it's never too late to keep going. It's never too late. You always have the opportunity every day to reinvent yourself. So as they say, seize the day, keep working, keep believing, and be your own cheerleader or your own coach, because you only have one of you. We love you all. You take care. Hope everybody has a good week, and stay tuned for the next episode of OnCounty. Peace.
Looking at it. Let me get the little audience back.